a topic that I've been talking for quite a while, quite a long time, how to meditate. And we've come to the subtopic that there are obstacles in meditation. Meditation is not just when you sit, it will be blissful, it will be happy, delightful, everything is sailing through, no obstructions, no hurdles to go through. Meditation is just like life. In life, there's obstacles that you have to overcome. So there are obstacles in meditation, and you really have to overcome those obstacles. Then you advance. So nothing comes easy. There's no free lunch, except we have a free lunch today. No free lunch. And so if you encounter difficulties, don't get disappointed. Don't say, when you sit for a while, oh, how come I feel this, how come I feel that? Not every session is delightful. Not every day is delightful. So you must prepare that when you're meditating, when you advance higher and higher and higher, you may encounter quite a few obstacles that you have to overcome. Once you overcome those obstacles, you'll be coming out smelling like roses, enlightenment. So you're on your way, but you have to go through those storms. And now, what are these obstacles? These obstacles are various. It's immeasurable. It's almost like, what are obstacles in life? It depends on your own karma too. It depends on your background, depends on where you're living and your environments, the country you're living in, your family. Everything is related. Causality, nothing is not related. So how successful you will be in your life, in your meditation, how successful is in your pursuit of enlightenment, all depends on multifaceted, many factors. And if we really have to identify these for the sake of talking about it, there are how many? There are 3 obstacles to meditation. Not just to meditation, to life. Afflictions-related obstacles, karma-related obstacles, retribution-related obstacles. And all these 3 obstacles are actually interrelated too. All these are interrelated. Afflictions-related obstacles. Let's talk about these generally. Well, what are afflictions? Some people call them emotions. Emotions-related obstacles. In the Sanskrit language, it's klesa, avarana. Yeah. They are all associated primarily with desire, hatred, erroneous views. And last time, we talked about these last time, so you have to refer to the unwholesome afflictions that always come up. For example, greediness, anger, ignorance, arrogance, doubt, false views. These are the basic ones. Everybody have these. You may not realize it. They're hidden. You may think that I'm altruistic, I'm not selfish, but you may not even realize you're selfish. You are egotistic. So there are also mental afflictions like disbelief, laziness, indolence, wandering thoughts all the time, or torpor. Torpor, it is very sluggish, you don't want to do anything, and forgetfulness, distraction, false misunderstanding of things. And all these are mental afflictions. And there are also many of them. Shamelessness, no guilt. You never feel guilty. You have done the wrong thing, but you never feel guilty about it. Hatred. Hatred is expressed. And vengeance is hidden. You may not express your hatred, you hide it. And then vexation. Sometimes nobody annoy you and you just feel unhappy. Vexation, depression, anxiety, guilt feeling, fear of death, suspicion of yourself, suspicion of others. and jealousy also. Green-eyed monster, jealousy. Harm, parsimony. You only want to spend money on yourself or your friends or family. You don't want to be charitable, parsimony. And pride, ego, concealment. You don't want people to know, And flattery, flowery language, double-tonguing, deceiving, all these are afflictions. If we can name them, the Buddha named only 26 grand categories, and each of these can be broken down into minute others, immeasurable afflictions that we have. And then we say, how come we have hatred coming up? How come we have depression coming up? How come we have arising in us fear, anxiety, jealousy, indolence, laziness? Where does this come from? Then remember when we talk about Buddhist psychology, or in the Sanskrit language, Vijnana Matrata, your mind, you have to know your mental experience, process, activity, if you want to know how these emotions come up. So we always have used this as a simple example. We have external environments like objects, sound, smell, taste, and touch, just to categorize them. External environments, externalities are so immeasurable that how can you classify them? How can you categorize them? But just for the sake of talking, objects, anything that is made up of elements, molecules, anything you can see, you can hear, you can feel, you can touch, objects. And then sound, your externalities, right? Let's summarize all the externalities into how many? Into 5, right? All the objects, all the sound, smell, taste, touch. What is this touch? This touch is your interaction with the externalities, with the outside world, including your organ interaction inside, everything. So all these external environments, internally we have perception through the 5 sensory organs that we have. How do we perceive things? How do we interact with the externalities? Through this eye consciousness. When your sensory organs are in contact with externalities, what arises? What arises? Consciousness arises. When your eyes see something, visual consciousness arises. When your ears listen, audio consciousness arises. It may not arise if you don't have attention. If you turn on the radio and you don't even pay attention to it, then your listening, your auditory consciousness about the sound produced from the radio is not working. So you really have to pay attention to it. So assuming that you pay attention to all these, then when your sensory organs are in contact with externalities, you have eye consciousness, ears, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, and body consciousness. These 5 consciousness summarize all external consciousness. And that's not enough. That's only the perception. Other than that, you also have cognition inside of you, which is the 6th consciousness. We call it the mano consciousness, the 6th consciousness. Everybody has the 6th consciousness, the mano. We always jokingly, we say the manager that supervises your senses, your ears, your eyes, your nose, your taste, your tongue. There's got to be a manager in here, the manager. How good is the manager? Everybody's manager is different. Some are very capable, some are incapable, some are criminal, some are altruistic, some are selfish. It depends on who is your manager, who is inside of you, your mano. And then how does the mano work? Cognition. In modern psychology, you call it cognition, how you cognize something. Then your manager performs various functions of the cognitive processes, including interpretation, investigation, analysis, intellectualization, everything going back to picking up past files from the cabinets, putting out past files and fixing budgets for the future and supervising the present. So past, present, and future. The Mano is doing all these things, very busy. Your Mano, our Mano, have been very busy. Doing what? Some Manos are doing meaningless things. Some Manos are doing meaningful things. How do you want your Mano to do? You have your own Mano inside of you. Have you been using the Mano well, meaningfully, or everybody's different? But that's cognition, according to modern psychology. Perception and then cognition. And the Buddha's language is consciousness and Mano, the sixth consciousness. And more than that, the manager is just the present life. How about things that happen in the future and in the past life? You got to know something about this. Sorry for those who already have been listening to these all the time. I'm sure they can memorize these, but for the sake of letting beginners know about these, and it's good for review, so you always have to remember, these is how your psyche is working. If you know how your psyche is working, you lead a better life than you don't know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's different me to do. I mean, that's not right. The ego attachment. In addition to perception, cognition, you have the ego attachment, which the Buddha said, the manas, the seven consciousness. You always identify all these things with you. You have the ego in you. You were born with the ego. When you were a baby, you're already born with this. And what does it do? What does the manas do, the ego do? It personalizes everything. You personalize everything. You stigmatize everything. You've been wearing your tainted glasses to look at everything with your own opinion. That's the reason why we say we're all opinionated. We think that I'm not opinionated, I'm objective. How objective you are if you're subjective, seeing things, how objective you are. So ego attachment. Modern psychology only talk about these up to the seventh, ego attachment. But the Buddha went forward to talk about one more thing, which is different from modern psychology. What's the difference between what the Buddha talked about and modern psychology talk about? Modern psychology only concerns this life. As far as time and space is concerned, modern psychology only concerned about the time now. But the Buddha said time dimension is not more than just now. We have a previous life. And if we have to roll into reincarnation, we have a future life. There's more. Time is not just of the present. If we just opinionated and say we only have the present, we didn't have any past, we didn't have any future, then you just tie yourself to the present, which is not logical, which is dangerous, Because if you say, I only have this life, I can do anything I want. As long as my senses feel happy, I can steal, I can kill, I can lie, I can do all sorts of things. As long as I'm happy at the present moment, I'm okay. Is that right? The Buddha said, no. You've got a past. You've got a future. You watch what you're doing. Everything takes to the future. You'll be suffering. You'll be going through retribution. And you are accountable for your past too. That's why you are suffering now. The fact that you are suffering now is because of what you've done in the past. What is past is already gone. Nothing you can do about it. But we can do something now for the future. Are you going to work on the present for a better future and a better now? Or you don't care? Everybody wants to be better, right? So the Buddha said, there's another store consciousness, which is the eighth consciousness. And this consciousness store all the present and past karmic energy. You can't get away with anything bad you have done. That's like your disk drive in the computer. Your keyboard is out of order. Your monitor is out of order. But that disk drive there, you can always transfer it from one, all the memory, the chips in there, can always transfer from one disk drive to another. The hardware doesn't really matter. You just have to pull that out and transfer one life after life. You store the present and the past karmic energy. Your ego attachment personalize everything, and that's the arousal of your emotions. The ego attach to everything. That's why we suffer. When people look at these, people have different wisdom coming up. Some people would trigger something inside of them. Oh, I got to watch out. Some people just laughed at it. Some beginner would just laugh at this. Oh, we have the ego? Oh, everything no. Oh, stores consciousness. But some really intelligent people, I got to watch it. If I know this, I got to be careful. I got to be careful in what I'm doing. The beginner would just laugh at it. The wiser would be careful about it. The enlightened one would adopt practice to improve it. You see the difference? The difference is in you, not in that. And most people would just laugh at it. Well, this is psychology, that's all. Take it very seriously. You know why we didn't take it seriously? We went through sufferings. What are these sufferings? You know, we'll point out these sufferings to you later. They are all related to the karma. So right now, you know how these mental afflictions come up, right? You have all these mental experiences that would breed all these things that comes up. Don't blame God for it. Don't blame your mom and dad for not giving you their estates. Don't blame anybody. Blame yourself. You are the master in faith. And then we said, remember we said about, let's get back to what we said in the beginning. I have done afflictions-related obstacles. Of course, there's a lot more to say about it. But let's get to karma-related obstacles. Actually, they're all related. What is karma? They're all associated with the effect of bad karma from past and present lives, obstructing an enlightenment. For example, poor health, sickness, family ties, career responsibilities. Why would karma-related obstacles stop you from good meditation, stop you from doing meditation? Some good examples. You're always busy with your job. How can you meditate? Your karma pull you to the busyness of your schedule that you have time to do your work 24 hours. You don't have time for 1 minute of meditation. You have time to go to parties. You have time to click onto your computer games, but you don't have time for 5 minutes of meditation. Why? The karma pull you down. You pull yourself down, your own karma. You could spend 1 hour karaoke and not half an hour of pursuit of enlightenment, pursuit of peacefulness inside of you, pursuit of mental attention, tranquility of mind. That's karma. And some people have poor health. They can't even meditate for 5 minutes. ADHD, children can't sit still. OCD, you close the door and you want to check it again and check it again until you break the knob. That's what we call OCD, right? You have all these psychological defects, everybody, that you don't have time for meditation. You're all caught up with your financial duties, caught up with your job, with your family burdens. Look, you have children who have OCD, autism. You can spend your whole life looking after them. It's karma related. You don't have time for meditation. You only have time to look after your family members, in which it's all karma. You owe them. They owe you. You repay them. They're repaying you. Your career responsibilities, your sickness. All these are karma that stop you from meditation. Even people who have been ordained as monks and nuns, you think they don't have karma-related obstacles? Sometimes when they were interacting with each other, they may have interaction problems, or they become sick, or they got caught in certain things. We're all caught in the web of our own, we say in the spider's web, we're all caught in the cocoon of the caterpillar. You're throwing out the thread to cocoon yourself. You're living in that cocoon. Who threw out this thread? You yourself. We did it ourselves. And the Buddha said, break the cocoon of life. Let's examine a little bit. We have a little bit of time today. Let's examine what is karma for the beginners. And for people who would like to do a review, what is actually karma? It's a Sanskrit word. Karma is an accumulation of actions of the body, speeches of the mouth, and thoughts of the mind. Everything about yourself. Nothing to do with externalities. You yourself did all these things. Have your actions been morally sound or immoral? What kind of actions you've been doing with your body? What can the body do? What kind of body is behavior, right? Body action is behavior. What kind of actions you do all the time? Many, many actions that the list is inexhaustible, the kind of actions that we do all the time. But if we want to summarize them, the bad side and the good side, killing, lying, and what? Sexual misconduct. We'll categorize those later. Speeches, you know what kind of speeches we do every day. Thoughts of the mind, that's even more subtle. Every thought. The Buddha said, pay attention not just to the speech and the actions of the body. Pay attention to every thought. Don't let your thought go astray. Karma also refers to the natural law of cause and effect, where each thought, action, and speech of an individual, the cause, influences the future of that individual. That's the effect. There are three kinds of karma. Wholesome karma, unwholesome karma, and neutral karma. The karma that you created with your body, your behavior, with your mouth, your speeches, with your mind, your thoughts, they have three natures. Wholesome karma will lead to wholesome effect, unwholesome karma will lead to unwholesome effect, and neutral karma would lead to neutral effect. No exception. But the maturity is different. So that's the reason why you say sometimes you complain. I know Mr. A, and he's been doing all these bad things. And how come his family is so happy? How come he's so rich? How come that guy is so handsome and so rich and he's doing all kinds of bad things? That's not fair. But remember, what he is enjoying now is what he did in previous lives. The maturity came in this life. He would enjoy the maturity of this life's karma first, but whatever bad karmas that created in this life, the future life will be miserable. Because the maturity rate, the maturity for each karmic energy varies. Naturally varies. You plant an apple seed and a plum tree, a plum seed. Maturity, apples may be 2 years, plum will be 3 years. Corn, zucchini, they all mature in different dates, different time. How can you say, I got corn in here, I planted the same day, how come my zucchini don't come out and the corn come out? They have different maturities. That's nature. They have their own karma too. No one can get away. So you watch every thought. You only cultivate benevolent thought, kind thought, compassionate thought, not selfish thought, cruel thought, deceiving thought. Because all these thoughts will lead you into bad karma. Good thought will lead you into good karma. Neutral thought will have neutral karma. The suffering and happiness we experience are the results of our own actions, speeches, and thoughts reacting on ourselves. So nothing to do with God. You yourself, you have the God in you. You yourself determine everything. Our karmic energy has been accumulated from one life to the next as we continue to experience rebirth. So that is karma in a nutshell. There's a lot more to say about karma. And what is more important, karma is not just of the present life. Where do afflictions come from? From karma. Present life karma and past life karma. Present life karma, our mind craves and attaches to all externalities. We have been creating karma in the process of satisfying our desires through our behavior, speech, and thought. Karma disrupts our inner peace, induces emotion and suffering. And some people would blame karma. Don't blame karma. Who did the karma? Who created karma? You yourself. Don't blame yourself. Just improve yourself. Don't even feel guilty about it. Just improve on it. Guilt feeling is a devastating feeling. Just like when depression comes, you feel guilty about depression. Embrace it, live with it, and go through it and improve on it. Difficult to do, easy to say. Thoughts give rise to action and speeches. Action and speeches, if they are repeated all the time, becomes a habit. Habits repeated all the time becomes your personality. Personality leads to your destiny. Your destiny is in your hands. So if we go by that logic, if you want to change your destiny for the better, for improvement, how do you do it? Do you just pray to God and let God handle it? No. You have to change and purify your thoughts. You do it yourself. Starting from on tomorrow, every thought is benevolent. Every thought is kind. Every thought is non-selfish. Every thought is benefiting. You'll find things change. So, you want to change your destiny, change your thought. After your thought is changed, you will change your action and speeches. When all the actions and speeches are changed, you change your habits. You have thought of diligence, then you'll be a diligent person. You have a thought of laziness, you'll be a lazy person. Who do you want to choose to be? It's clear. But how many people really do it? Unclear. We don't know. Why? That's the reason why we say the Buddhist teaching is important. The Buddhist teaching is keeping on constantly reminding people, change your thoughts. People were struggling and say, I don't like the system. I don't like, some people say, I don't like dictatorship. I don't like totalitarian political system. Some people say, I don't like even democratic system. I don't like all systems. All systems are corrupted. They always say that. You may be true to a certain extent. You can only have the most ideal system if you have started from ideal thought. Don't think about creating good system. Think about changing, purifying your thought first. Every individual thought microscopically give rise to a macro level of good system. So you don't force a system to go through. Change thoughts, not changing the system. You can only change the system by fighting, by wars, by violence. Is that what you should do? Change the system by non-violence. And the non-violence comes from the thought of compassion, thought of non-violence, thought of unselfishness. So don't think about changing the system. You think you'll vote, you just cast your vote and you can change the system? Because if the politicians have fallacious thoughts, selfish thoughts, cruel thoughts, you think the system is going to be good? So we should change our thoughts, not force onto a system. But of course, some systems are better than the others through understanding of peace, through understanding of compassion. And of course, most people say, of course, democratic system is better than a totalitarian system, even though a democratic system could be messy too. Some people criticize, you blame our totalitarian system, but how about the democratic system is still bad? Yes, but that's better. That's liberty. That's pursuit of happiness. It's also messy, right? You know why it's also messy? Because we haven't changed the basic thought. We haven't purified our thought to the utopia of thought, to the complete purity of thought. But we are working towards that route. So there's a better system, we all say, right? Because there's liberation. The Buddha is talking about liberation. But when the Buddha talks about liberation, it's not just liberation of a system, it's liberation from this world. This is a world of suffering. You want to liberate it from suffering, you have to get away from this karmic world. Because if you don't get away from karmic world, you'll roll into the next round of reincarnation, getting into the same system in the next round of 100 years of your life. So, remember, thoughts. What is meditation? Meditation is just about crossing your legs and just sitting quietly. Meditation is about purifying your thoughts to authentic thoughts, thoughts of purity, thoughts of peacefulness, thoughts of tranquility, thoughts of compassion. All this will come out when you have the right thought. So past lives karma, innate karma accumulated from previous lives via rebirth. And we say, then how do we change past lives? I mean, whatever has happened, how can I change past life? The Buddha suggested some methods of changing it. Repentance. Some religions use it too. It's not just used by Buddhism. Compassion. So repentance. Performance of good deeds. Purification by practices of the Buddhist teaching, like Vinaya, precepts, observations of other precepts, abstain from killing, all that, etc., etc. Abstain from lying, abstain from sexual misconduct, and all that. And that's what we're going to go next into the slide of what actually created karma. What kind of actions we've been doing to create bad karma and good karma. Let's examine it. Unwholesome karma and wholesome karma. If we can summarize karma, some karmic energy is inexhaustible because there's so much. But if we have to do some categories for the sake of talking about it, we say that is physical, verbal, and mental. Physical karma, verbal karma. Physical is from the body, behavior. Verbal is from the mouth, speeches. And mental is from the thought, from the mind. So we said body, mouth, and mind, right? It's the same as behavior, verbal, and mentality. Physically, what do we do? Killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. These are just the broad categories. Did we do any killing? Every day. People kill animals for you to eat. You've been indirectly supporting the slaughtering of animals on earth for the satisfaction of your taste buds. We kill millions of cows, pigs, millions of ducks and chickens cruelly every day for you to be put in the supermarket so that you can buy them. You can't stay away from meat every day. You can't stay away from meat. You always want to eat meat. You can stay away from fur. You want to kill the minks for the mink coat. You want to kill the seal for their fur. You've been supporting directly or indirectly killing. You even go hunting. You think you can get happiness from animals being hunted. You get personal delight when you kill animals for recreation. A lot of people do fishing. When you pull this fish wire, you think the fish is suffering with mouth hooked up with all the blood all over the place, and you pull the fish up, and you slice the fish into whatever you want to. You cook your fish, and you feel happy about it. You feel happy fishing. You don't know the fish is suffering, right? The whales, the sharks. As long as you're happy, you don't care about the animals suffering. Stealing. Did you steal? It involves a lot. Well, I've been talking about this. If you really want details about this, you can go into Google and say, unwholesome karma. How is unwholesome karma created? People say, I didn't steal. You're stealing every day. You don't even know about it. You've been downloading every day. You don't even know about it. You've been stealing in every way. You've been signing false contract. You have been diluting your customers. You have been using dummy companies to create stock markets. You inflate your price to control stock market prices. Oh, everything is about stealing. Financial gimmicks, Ponzi plans. Financial people should tell you all that. Schemes, scams, scandals. Sexual misconduct, you know that more than we do. We are monks and nuns. So verbal, I don't want to go into details. Remember, most people know about this already. Verbal, we have lying, immoral languages, slandering, double-tongued speech, mental, engaging the mind in desires, engaging in thoughts of hatred, wrong views, selfish views. And how about wholesome karma? Abstinence from all these. Have you been abstained from killing? Abandon fishing. Don't kill animals for your own pleasure. Abandon hunting. Don't support killing mink for the fur, seal for the fur. You know how the seals get slaughtered in the Arctic? Abstinence from lying, immoral languages, abstinence from slandering, double-tonguing, abstinence from engaging the mind, the desires, and all that. All these 10, they look simple. Some people say, what is the foundation of morality? And what is the foundation of the Buddhist teaching? In the ancient days, a monk suggested, these are the foundations. And then the guy, after listening to it, said, oh, this is easy to do. But then the monk said, it may be understood by a 10-year-old child, but when you're up to 100 years old, you haven't performed these things well. A 10-year-old child may understand, but a 100-year-old guy have committed all these errors in their life, and they didn't even know about it. Okay, these are the karmic energy. So we say, what does these afflictions come from? And we've been talking about karmic-related obstacles, right? All these, if you're doing killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, you think you can do a good meditation? Said if you are kidding all the time, stealing all the time, sexual misconduct all the time, immoral language, slandering, you're doing all this, you think you can do a good meditation? Remember what we've been talking about? We're seeing obstacles to meditation. So we have already talked about all these afflictions internally generated from ourselves to stop us from good meditation. So if you want to do a good meditation, you have to stop your emotions, your depressions, your guilt, your arrogance, your jealousy, your hatred. Internally, you have to stop those. You have to jump over those to have good meditation. Meditation is just not about just crossing your legs and just sit there. Have you overcome all these emotions, mental afflictions? And people tell you, I'm an experienced meditator, I've done well in meditation, but you ask yourself, do you still have all this jealousy, hatred, egoism, all these things? If I have these things, I haven't achieved much in meditation. I'm just window dressing my meditation. I just look, I'm meditating. But internally, I still have that. I still have all the garbage tank of mental garbage in me. What is awakening? Awakening is open up your garbage tank door and let out all this garbage. Or you just enclose your garbage and still, I'm a meditator. But all this garbage, I'm hiding this garbage beside me, inside of me. When you're window dressing, you're window dressing yourself as a meditator, but you're not doing it right. So you're always asking for who is a better teacher? I'm looking for teacher. You are your own teacher. You just open your door and clean up the garbage and don't throw in any more of those garbages anymore. The teacher is within, not externally. It doesn't matter how many teachers outside. If you don't clean it up yourself, you think the teacher can clean it for you? If a good teacher could clean up your own garbage, then all the students' garbage have already been cleaned. Even the Buddha cannot clean your garbage. He can only tell you how to open those doors, how to clean it, what kind of detergent, what broom to use, how to use them. So don't look for a teacher anymore. You are your own teacher. Stop all these. Stop killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, immoral language, slandering, desires, thoughts of hatred. And if they come up, what happens if they come up? Embrace them. Don't hate them. Live with it. Go through it. Difficult. It itself is an obstacle. And some people call it Kundalini awakening. In the process, you're really suffering because all this, when you open the garbage door, it all stinks. You are overwhelmed by the garbage. All these things come to the surface. You have depression when you're meditating, when you're awakening, when you open this garbage door, all these come up multifold to the surface. Makes you more miserable. But you were able to embrace it, to live with it. Don't resist it. Let it go by, let it come out, let it come out. So you think the meditation is easy? Meditation is opening the garbage door and let them out. I've been looking for a teacher for 30 years. And sure, some give good suggestions, but the actual final, ultimate teacher is within me. I have enough information. I put all this information on the shelves, and on my computer. And every now and then I just look at them, and that's it. And then I close them, and next time I open it again and close them. I never practiced it. I only read them. That's words wisdom, not practice wisdom. All right? So we say, and then we say, okay, we're trying everything to overcome these things. We want to do this. We want to be better. But how come I still suffer? These are the sufferings that we can't escape. In the Lotus Sutra, Sakyamuni Buddha said, the triple world of samsara are full of turmoil, like a burning house, replete with multitude of sufferings. Sufferings of birth, aging, sickness, death, suffering of being departed from beloved ones. Suffering arises when your relatives, your mom and dad passed away and your beloved one passed away, even your children, your babies. And suffering arises from not getting what one wants. And suffering arises from interaction with the five skandhas, which we have to understand what the five skandhas are. Most mental disorders emanate from or are related to these sufferings. The magnitude of emotions varies from person to person because of differences in their own karma, physiologically and psychologically. So everybody's awakening is different, everybody's suffering is different, everybody's destiny is different. And talking about, people say, what do you mean by suffering of birth? Suffering of birth? Someone is being born, no, it's happy, right? Someone is being born, it's happy. So what suffering is there? There are many casualties and many suffering related to birth. Even related to prior to birth. You know how many babies were killed in abortion? How many ladies aborted their own babies? Because of their own mischief or whatever they do, I don't know. And in one country, from what I got, the information I got, over 30 years, they killed millions of babies. Forced abortion, millions of babies. And if you look at, if you research into internet, every year in one country, in North America, in one country, more than 1.5 million of babies were killed in abortion. Casualties at birth. How can mothers kill their own babies? What happened? And sometimes, if you poison the babies before they were born, you only also give rise to deaths of the mom. Cesarean section. Not every cesarean section is successful, particularly in the old days. So birth really are related to a lot of casualties. And particularly in countries where they put emphasis on male, they like boys and they don't like girls, they drown the girls, baby girls. It's terrible. You know how humans inflict pain and suffering and death for other humans? Suffering of birth. This is not a good world to live in. We try to be happy. We try to like this. Our attitude should not be negative. But when we see these negative facts, that make us more positive in saying, I'm going to transcend this world of unhappiness. I never give up because I see the negative things. You know why the Buddha became ordained as a monk? Why did the Buddha abandon his throne to, all his luxuries, to go into the forest for meditation and try to find a way to transcend life and death? Because he knew that the only way to get away from all these is to transcend all these. You don't have to hate all these. You don't hate birth, hate aging, hate sickness, hate death. There are facts in life that you cannot hate. You think by hating them, they can get away? You just embrace them and go beyond them. How to do it? It's in the Buddha's teaching since 2,600 years ago. Now you have come to a realization. You want to know something about them. The intelligence, the wisdom alarm started alarming you. You started to investigate and find out more about it. Because of all these negative things, you find out more about how positive you can be. You're not being negative in the negative world. You're even more positive living in a negative world. But you have to recognize these negative things. Otherwise, how can you be positive? You don't hate these negative things, but you have to identify them, transcend them. That's what the Buddhist teaching is all about. Okay, so I have talked about karma-related obstacles. If you have to die, you only have one life to do meditation. If you are aging, if you get old, you cannot meditate. If you are sick, you cannot meditate. When you die, how can you meditate? When you are suffering from the grief-stricken emotion of people passing away for a month, for a year, how can you do meditation? If you always have insatiable desires, number 7, how can you do meditation? So all these obstacles to the meditation. So meditation is just sit down and become happy. No. All these are obstacles stopping us from doing good meditation, stopping us from being enlightened. We need to transcend these. Oh, let's come to the last one. I don't want to linger on. What is retribution obstacles? Retribution. Remember, afflictions-related obstacle and karma-related obstacles deal with individualistic obstacles for the individual, because you have the afflictions, you have the karma. That's on a micro level. If we look at it from a micro level, but when we look at anything, we have to look at the macro level too. The collective level. We were born in this world that very difficult to get enlightened. Where are we? We're in the 6 paths of reincarnation. Remember, the whole world is in 3 levels right now of this plane of existence. The Kama Dhatu, world with materiality and desire. A Rupa Dhatu, world with materiality only. And a Rupa Dhatu, world without materiality, only consciousness left. And their degree of happiness is increasing as they go up to higher level. We are, what level are we in? We are in the lower level. We are in the humans level. We're not in the heavens level. But the heavens level would also, and they're not enlightened yet, they only have happiness. But they're not the ultimate way to go. They are heaven. People live in the heaven, but they still are in paths of reincarnations because they're attaching to the happiness. We are here, humans level. So we're in the human levels, we have only a limited time for meditation. You only have 100 years for meditation, right? Out of this 100 years, when you were born, up to 10 years old, how can you meditate? From 10 to 20 years old, you were at school, you were doing all this work, and you're at university. And after you graduate from university, you form a family, you have house, you have wife, you have husband, you start to look for a job, and then you have kids. You have to be responsible for a father, as a mother. Oh, you have to have a family. All your time is spent in your family, in your wife. How can you have any time for enlightenment? That is your retribution. People in heaven, they enjoy millions of years of longevity. They may be able to do meditation, but then if they don't have any suffering, they don't want to meditate too. You only would want to walk away from this world when you have suffering. The good thing about suffering is it's an incentive for you to transcend it. Don't hate suffering. Because we are going through suffering, we want to transcend it. People in heaven, they don't have any suffering. They're not looking for enlightenment. They just enjoy it. So sometimes it's good if you are suffering. Don't blame yourself for being born in a poor family. Don't blame yourself for I couldn't get a job, and I tried my best and you couldn't get a job. You know suffering. Because you know suffering, you know that you want to get away from suffering. So the bad stuff can turn into something good. And the good stuff can turn into something bad because you attach to the good stuff. So retribution is the macro level that you are being born into this world that is not perfect. Our time and space is not perfect. Our time is not perfect for us. We have the past, the present, and the future. What is the past? The time when you were born as a baby is the past. What is the future? The time when you die is the future, right? No exception. What is your future? Your future is you've got a promotion next year. That's your future. Let's consider the macro level. Your future is death. Not negative. It's a fact, right? Your future is not longevity. Your future is death. So you have a past, which is being born. You have a future that is death. And in between you have aging. When you're aging, how can you meditate? You can't even cross your legs. So you have birth, death, and aging. And in between you have sickness. You have all these circumstances that work against you in your meditation and your enlightenment and your pursuit of wisdom. That's your retribution, because you were being born in here. You're not in the Buddha's level. You're not in the Arahat level. When you're in the Arahat level, you are out from samsara. You're out from life and death. You don't have the retribution anymore. You don't have the retribution of life and death anymore. But we have the retribution of life and death. You got to come back again. If you're not enlightened in this life, you got to come back again as a Joe Blow. In this life, you are John. In the next life, you could be William. Rolling in the path of reincarnation, going through life and death all the time. You're not out. You're not out from jail. We're all serving a jail sentence. We may not even know about it. The jail sentence of existence. We're in a dream of existence. We're living in a delusion of existence. This jail would not jail us. It's a delusion. This jail is just a delusion. It will not jail us permanently. This jail is impermanent. You want to get out from this jail. But you have to know how to get out from this jail. The Buddha showed us the map. The Buddha opens the window and says, here's the map for you. Slide through the bars. Here's a map for you. Open this map and you can get out. You got this map, you don't even read it. The Buddha has been knocking at the door and say, this is the map to get out. But you haven't tried. So we're always in this jail. And what is more, how many people really open the door and listening to the knock of the door and take that map? There are a lot of people behind. They don't even know they're in jail. They think that being in prison is a fact of life. They never enjoy liberty. They have no vision of liberty. Only those who have a vision. Oh, why am I born? Only those who realize the delusion of existence will know how to get out. There are people, the animals behind. Some are animals, some are people. A dog, a cat, they never question existence. Would a cat say, why would it exist? Why do I have to go through a cat's life? Would a cat do that? Only humans know the value of existence. A dog will only bark when a stranger comes in and bark again when it's hungry. He would not value existence. Find out more about existence. And right now I want to find out more about what kind of food we have in the cafeteria today. And we name that, we've dressed it as a window, we say eating meditation. So we're going through eating meditation now.